Hey folks, Parker Thune joining you from Waikoloa Village, Hawaii, where I've been for the last week doing absolutely no work, but I'm back on the grind today because I had to catch up with this man right here, three-star Heritage Hall, Oklahoma City athlete Andy Bass, the newest commit for the Oklahoma Sooners. Andy, thanks so much for taking some time to jump on here and kind of share a little bit of how you became a Sooner and the process that led up to your commitment. Before we get to any of that, though, I imagine that there's going to be a large segment of the fan base that is just eager to get to know you and your background because you're obviously not a guy that many of them were familiar with until just a few months back. So, kind of walk us through your athletic journey and what's taken you up to this point of being committed to play football at a Power Five institution like Oklahoma.
Yeah, of course. Well, thank you for your time, Parker. I chose OU because I've always kind of grown up going to games. It goes back as far as I can remember, going to games with friends and family, just watching, seeing all the fans go crazy. There's nothing like it. So being able to go and play there is an absolute dream. I started playing football when I was 4 years old, playing flag football. That was the core of my childhood for sure. And then in middle school, I started playing tackle football. In high school, I finally made the switch to a different high school. And ever since I've been at Heritage Hall, and here we are today.
Yeah, man. So I want you to walk us through, if you could, the first few years of your high school career up until those offers started rolling in. Because obviously you were kind of a late riser on the recruiting trail, didn't start picking up offers till after your junior year. Why was that? Kind of take us freshman through junior season and your football journey for your first 3 years of high school.
Yeah, so my freshman year, I was playing quarterback still. I had a preseason injury, unfortunately, so I wasn't able to throw the rest of that year. And then, like I said, I made the switch to Heritage Hall my freshman year, and then my sophomore year, I had to sit out due to transfer rules. So that was unfortunate. I couldn't play with my boy Gavin, but junior year, I was ready to take on the reins, and we had a great year, won a state championship, and I'm ready to go do it again.
Yeah, man, you bring up Gavin, and obviously that's a fun connection. The two of you both being Heritage Hall guys and guys that are kind of in a unique situation scholarship wise at Oklahoma. Gavin took the traditional walk on route. We're going to get to your route and what it all entails a little bit later on here. But I think one of the parallels that a lot of folks see between you and Gavin is just versatile football players. Yeah, you got a position. You're a quarterback by trade, and Gavin played wide receiver in high school, but with what you guys are able to put on tape, the natural versatility that you have with the combination of size and speed and just the cognitive capacity to process pretty much anything, depending on what position you line up at. There's just it. There is that football player designation that I think follows a guy like Gavin and a guy like you, regardless of what position you end up at. And so kind of walk us through the journey of your recruitment as it pertains to your positional fit at the next level. Because obviously you had some Ivy League offers to play quarterback. I remember talking to an Ivy League staffer at a mega camp in June, and he was like, "Man, we love Andy Bass, but he's gonna end up being too good for us." So obviously you had some quarterback offers rolling in. Uh, you have some schools that are interested in deploying you in more of a versatile skill position role in their offense, but what is it that you like to do on the football field, and what is it that you were sold on by the various coaching staffs that were recruiting you to play ball at their institutions?
Well, I mean, I'm always going to do whatever helps the team best to get the win at the end of the day. But I've always enjoyed playing quarterback. I've played it my whole life. I think the new switch will be something that'll kind of refresh my whole outlook on football. So I'm really looking forward to it. I've never really played running back or receiver. Like I said, I've always played quarterback. So it'll be an adjustment for sure. But I think it's something I can handle. Going from quarterback to a different position is definitely much easier than vice versa. So I'm looking forward to the challenge, and I'm excited for it.
Let's rewind a couple months here, man, because obviously you're committed to Oklahoma today, but didn't pick up the Oklahoma offer until mid-June. And that was on the heels of your recruitment really starting to heat up. You had some Ivy League offers, had some G5 offers throughout the spring. And I remember it was either late May or early June where Syracuse throws their hat in the ring. That's your first Power Five offer. And you booked an official visit pretty quickly, took that official visit. And I remember just kind of following your recruitment up to that point, man. A guy like you has offers like that, and then you get a P5. Uh, like Syracuse jumping in and expressing a lot of interest, prioritizing you, man, my thought was, okay, this kid's going to Syracuse. Like at that point in time, it's midsummer. A lot of guys looking to jump on board, lock in their spot at a P5's place one way or another if they can get a spot there, which obviously you could. But then you take that official visit to Syracuse, and 2-3 days later, you're out at OU's camp working out with the running backs. And generally speaking, there are not a lot of rising seniors that are at a camp like that trying to earn an offer like the Oklahoma offer. It's very common for rising juniors to be doing that, not so for rising seniors. So for you, what was it about that OU offer and the opportunity that potentially existed therein if you showed out at that camp that made it worthwhile to you to go essentially prove yourself when you had a P5 school like Syracuse that you didn't have to prove anything to at that point?
Right. No, I mean, like I said, OU's always been my dream school. So I think just the desire to get an offer from them was pretty much unmatched. I mean, the first 2 years of my recruitment were definitely at a disadvantage since I didn't get to play any varsity. But so I kind of had to make up for that this summer with some camps. But yeah, that OU camp, I was super excited when I knew I was going to be working with Coach Murray. Just within the first few drills, I really kind of clicked with him and really like his coaching style a lot. So I'm looking forward to the next few years under him for sure.
Now, man, you mentioned it. You've got 1 year of varsity film at this point. It's quarterback film. A school like Oklahoma typically isn't taking a chance on a guy like you at a position like running back when he doesn't have any film for the position unless they see some really special athletic traits. So just having that vote of confidence from the Oklahoma staff to recruit you at a position that you haven't played a whole heck of a lot of make it all the more special to you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Coach Levy and Coach Murray have sat with me for several hours apiece and kind of just explained their vision for me. And I'm super appreciative of not just the opportunity, but also their plan and their vision for my future. So I think they definitely know what they're talking about, and they're going to get it done for sure.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about what that vision is. What did Coach Levy and what did Coach Murray have in mind for you within the Oklahoma offense in the future?
Yeah, so I'd be under Coach Murray in the running backs room primarily, but Coach Levy also mentioned me being split out wide, trying to get me one-on-one with linebackers. So and even inside the goal line being a quarterback. So really kind of doing it all. He said he knows that I play quarterback, so he knows like he can put a lot on me. So I'm looking forward to the challenge, and I think I'll really be able to fully express my skill set and my playmaking ability at all those different positions.
How has your relationship with Coach Murray evolved in the 2.5 months that Oklahoma's been officially recruiting you?
Oh, he's a great person. I mean, not just a hard coach, but he's also a great person outside of all the football field stuff. I went on 2 visits, and both of those times he was super nice and friendly to not just me but my parents as well. Showed us around. We even drove in his car a little bit. So, I mean, his hospitality was great as well, not just on the field, but all around, just a great guy.
Now, on the other hand, what about Coach Levy? Obviously, a creative offensive mind, a guy that's got a resume, a guy that has coached at the highest level collegiately, coordinated at the highest level collegiately. What do you like about him as a football mind and as a person?
Yeah, Coach Levy's a great person. At camp, I was making a few plays here and there, and he would always come up to me after the plays all fired up and saying, "Let's go," and kind of, just getting me pumped up to go and do it again. So I'm super excited for him to be not just my coach, but be a friend to me too, outside of just football.
Now, one thing that I've talked to a lot of people about you, obviously, one thing that everybody says about you is, man, this guy's just got a relentless work ethic. It doesn't matter if he's in the weight room, on the practice field, um, in the film room, whatever he's doing, whether it's football or academics, really anything that's going to prepare him for the next phase of life, this guy just takes his craft very, very seriously. Where do you think that comes from? And could you give us a little bit of insight into tangibly what that looks like on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, well, my dad's a Marine, so he's always kind of instilled that hard work ethic into me ever since I was a little kid. One of the quotes that's always stood out to me that he said is hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. So I've always kind of taken that to heart, and it's my lifestyle. I mean, I love to take care of my body and I love to work out. So it's really just what I love to do.
Yeah. So what does that look like day in, day out, whether in the off season or in season when you got football on a daily basis? What does your hour to hour schedule look like typically?
Yeah, so when I can, I try to get a lift in during the morning, before school around 6 a.m. And then after school in the off season, I go lift with all the guys, and then we hit the field, throw around. Obviously, I won't be doing that this off season because it's my last year playing quarterback, but I'm sure I'll be on the jugs machine and all that plenty of times with all my boys can train for college. So
How do you I, I suppose what I'm getting at is how do you balance that playing quarterback as a senior, but knowing that's not the position that you're going to play at the next level? How do you balance staying ready and continuing to develop your skills as a quarterback towards a second straight state title, and also kind of looking at the bigger picture and going, okay, I need to prepare myself to play a position that I'm not playing this season?
right. I mean, I think right now I'm really just focused on quarterback. I mean, it's a privilege to get to touch the ball every play and to lead my team. Everybody always listens to the quarterback, so it's really just a big honor. I'm really trying to just enjoy it my senior year, and then after we get that gold ball, I'll shift my focus onto different positions.
There you go. Now, man, as you spent time around Norman, once OU threw the offer in, and you got the opportunity to develop peer-to-peer relationships with some of the other guys Oklahoma's recruiting. I know one thing that you mentioned to me in the past was it still kind of feels like you're getting caught up because a lot of these guys have relationships that predate when you came onto the scene. But who are some of the guys that you found yourself developing bonds with, and what's your overall outlook on not just the players but the people that Oklahoma has been able to add so far in this 2024 recruiting cycle?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Coach Venables preaches it all the time about how he's trying to build the family aspect over anything else, and I really think that's super important. There's a few in-state guys that are also going to OU, which I think is awesome. Mikael Patterson, Xavier Robinson, Kevin Sperry, all those guys are super good guys. I got to see some of them the other day when I was at Carl Albert, and they're always super friendly, super welcoming. So I couldn't be more excited to be teammates with them the next few years.
What's your plan academically when you get to Oklahoma? First off, January enrollee or June? And then what do you want to do with life outside of football, life after football?
Well, my school doesn't let us early enroll, unfortunately, but so I'll be running track this spring, and then I'll join the team in the summer. And I'm looking to study business, entrepreneurship, kind of go down that role. So,
Now, for those that aren't completely cognizant of this guy's track resume, he won the state championship in the state of Oklahoma with a 10.56 time in the 100 meters as a junior. For context, and your former high school teammate Gavin Freeman, and this is how I contextualize it all the time. Gavin Freeman won the state championship as a senior with a 10.68, and trust me, anybody that's seen Gavin Freeman in the Crimson and Cream knows that that dude can run. You figure, okay, here's Andy running a full tenth of a second faster as a junior. There's just an incredibly high ceiling there when you're able to translate that speed from the track onto the football field. But man, for you preparing for your senior season in track, what are some of the benchmarks you're trying to hit, and what do you think is feasible? What kind of numbers you think you can put up as a senior?
well, I've already been talking to my track trainer, and I think we both expect to go low 10 threes, even 10 twos this year. So I'm looking forward to it, but got to go get a gold ball in football first.
Give us an idea of, and this is obviously more of a perspective thing than anything else, but from your perspective, I guess, how do you think the mechanics and the lessons that you learn and apply in track have been able to help your development as a football player?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, track is super technical sport, and I think even quarterback is a very technical sport too, or a technical position too. So a lot of that just kind of being nitpicky with all the details, everything matters pretty much. So just kind of every day trying to iron out, perfect your craft is really the goal in the end.
So, from a bigger picture standpoint here, obviously, Brent Venables and the Oklahoma football program have taken their lumps in the media nationally over the last few months after that 6-7 season that they endured in 2022. And haven't had the opportunity to spend time around the coaching staff, the support staff, all the individuals involved with the program, players, personnel, etc. What personally have you been able to witness slash experience that makes you confident that what happens in 2022 is a blip on the radar and not the beginning of a trend at Oklahoma?
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to judge a coaching staff off of their first year, especially when almost the whole team leaves when they're coming in. So they're really having to start from scratch. And I think Coach Venables is doing a really good job building up the brand and building up the team of OU football. And I'm sure it'll be back in no time. I'm looking forward to watching them this year for sure.
Now, what do you think gets you the most excited about wearing the crimson and cream and playing at Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium? Because obviously you're a local kid, like you said, OU's dream school. You got family ties there. It makes sense for you to be there. But if there's one thing that kind of just gets you stoked to be a Sooner more so than everything else, what is that thing?
Really, just kind of all the ties I have to Oklahoma. My grandpa used to play golf there. Several family members went there. A bunch of my friends all go there. So really, just the community. I mean, it's the best fan base in college football. So nothing beats that.
Now, as you kind of take a step back and think about what life is going to be at Oklahoma over the next 4 or 5 years, and how high of a ceiling this program has, assuming the coaching staff stays together and you're able to stay the course and the trajectory as a program, what realistically, what do you think this team can attain, especially after the transition to the SEC, based on what you've seen, what you've heard, what you've experienced being around the program and the people involved with it?
I mean, I think the ceiling is pretty high for the team, especially my class. I know there's a lot of really hardworking and very talented guys in my class that we've been recruiting. So I'm super excited to take the field with those guys, keep developing, keep perfecting my craft, and I'm sure it'll all pay off in the end.
Now, you're a quarterback, you're a high achieving academic guy, so you've got a sharp mind. And for any quarterback and for anybody that's just cognizant of all the goings on a football field outside of their lane and their role, you know, right, that having a defensive guru like Brent Venables coordinating the other side. You're going to play offense. Offense is your wheelhouse. The offensive class in 2024, as you mentioned, is very, very strong. But how much confidence does it give you in knowing that the other half, the other side of the ball, the other unit is entrusted to a guy that's as good at his job as Brent Venables?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I have all my trust in Coach Venables. He's always 10 on 10 on the treadmill, so he's always pushing all the defensive guys, and that's something that OU hasn't really been the best at in the past. I know, is defense. So I think he's really turning everything around for the best, and that gives me a big confidence boost having a good defense to play with.
You take a little bit of added pride, and I know there are family ties to Oklahoma, but being an in-state kid and seeing the way that this staff has emphasized and prioritized recruiting in-state athletes, does that give you a little bit of pride, not just as an individual, but as a group, when you think about some of the guys that you mentioned, Michael Patterson McDonald, for instance, that are going to be putting on for their home state over the next few years?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it means the world to have the opportunity to be able to play at somewhere where I've always been super close to my whole life.
Okay, man. Last thing for you here. If you could provide a message to the fan base, and you just, because you know there are a lot of folks who are going to watch this video, a lot of folks that are going to blow stuff up on social media when your announcement goes public. If you could convey one message to the fan base about the type of player and the type of person that their program is getting in Andy Bass, what do you want to put in front of them?
I mean, I'm all about the work, so I'm ready to come in and get to work. I think hard work always pays off in the end. So couldn't be more excited. Boomer Sooner.
Andy Bass, three-star athlete from Heritage Hall High School in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, the newest member of Oklahoma's 2024 class. Andy, thanks so much for the time.
Thank you.